Man, it's funny how time flies, especially when the month of January is about to come to an end. Anyway, how y'all doing today? My name is Taylor Jones, and welcome back to my channel. And now, recently, like a couple weeks ago, I did make a little short video about what I was planning to do. And since you're tuned in with me on this Friday night, I'm about to change up a bit on my YouTube channel because this video is going to be different. Now, a long time ago, I used to make rant videos, but unfortunately, since last semester at the University of Memphis, I had to get my YouTube channel changed up, and my old videos, they are private, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's important since I'm in school right now. So, anyway, with all that being said, I welcome you to a little segment that I call Cold Man's Winter. Now, for those that are wondering, what do I mean by Cold Man's Winter? Ever since last year, when I think the City Girls or either Megan Thee Stallion came up with the phrase "Hot Girl Summer," but since it's already winter, it's just a different side of things. So, a different way of life, and just like and it's also based on the old school music videos that, like, mostly rap music videos, when rappers they're filmed outside on a cold day even when it's snowing, and it's just crazy how life is turning out because the world is so cold and there's a whole lot of issues that's making it colder than the temperature itself. For example, the death of Kobe Bryant, number 8 and number 24, both LA Lakers jerseys retired, and everybody's still mourning for Black Mamba, well, the family, because it's kind of crazy that a father and daughter had to die together. It's just heartbreaking. And not to mention, recently on the news, we hear people talking about the impeachment of Donald Trump. Like, is it really going to happen? When is it going to take place? And how do people reflect on that? Some people, they don't give a dang as much, and that's the problem. But at the same time, some feel relieved. Like, whoo, enough with the bigotry, enough with the racism. But come on now, there's no way out. I mean, if the whole world was like a maze, we can't even find a way out because let's say somebody did, but little did he or she know that if you step out, you're gone. You'll be free falling, or you end up dead, missing in action, killed, lost without a purpose. And I feel like that was the main problem for the year 2019. Everybody was lost. And of course, some people would say, you got lost in the sauce. What sauce? Parmesan, cheese, mayonnaise, or spaghetti sauce? It's just, come on now, come on. It's nothing new, right? So, why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about it when I'm trying to stick to the subject, the title of that matter? Well, it's another way of life. Like, for instance, you see a lot of people getting out of line, and it later turns out to be on the news. Now, news channels like WREG Channel 3, WMC Channel 5 News, WBBJ ABC 7, even when it's between ABC and CBS, they all have the same schedule, the same discussions, the same recaps on what just happened on an everyday basis. Murders, robberies, some events that took place. Like, for the local communities, even recaps on the celebrity lifestyle, the entertainment, sports, all that in a bag of chips. But wait a minute, don't you notice what you're missing behind the news channels? Like when you watch the news, whether you wake up in the morning, good morning, West Tennessee, or you watch it at midday or noon, as much as you watch it at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, or maybe later, like 10 p.m. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where children are? I used to I used to joke around whenever WREG Channel 3 news, whenever it's the 10 o'clock news at night, whenever the anchor man or the anchor woman says, it's 10 o'clock, you know where your children are? I say, getting ready for bed. But that's if I had children. But that's the problem. Everybody's been guessing like, ooh, it will happen. It will happen. But what will happen? Like, let's say that you had a friend and he or she got tired of your mess. Like, you really hurt their feelings. You got on their bad side. They had enough. And that's what happens. Even in social media era, the millennial era, the Facebook, the Twitter, Instagram, I feel like when you have to compare your social media to something more rapid, more dark, more deadly, what would you compare that to? Now, last year, back when I made rant videos, I remember when I made a video called Decisions. I remember, I still got this phone, by the way, and it looks bad, so it's not important right now. But then again, I may be wrong. You gotta realize, because when I talked about my phone and my laptop that I'm using, and I compare, it's like I'm going to bring back the old situations, the old words that I've said, because social media can sometimes be like the 2020 version of weed, cocaine. And speaking of weed, I don't know why it occurred to me, but in 3 months, well, since today is the last day of January and tomorrow it starts February. We already know that love's in the air, but why am I talking about weed? Because everybody's going to be like celebrating 420 the entire month of April instead of just 420 2020, because the year is 2020. Our goal is to have a clearer vision, a good look, like we could see further ahead. But instead, we're doing the opposite. Some of our visions are blurry. Oh, but wait till April comes. Oh man, we gonna have a blurry vision all month long. Hey, smoke weed every day. Come on now. Everybody's gonna be excited because they're gonna hear the news about marijuana being legalized. I mean, think about it. Even rappers from back then was like, we need that stuff legalized. For example, Cypress Hill, Snoop Dogg, who knows? But anyway, it's just crazy how life has turned out from then to now. Yet, it's not as simple as you think it is. So, why not just come up with a better solution, a better way? You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if you're in your room like I am right now, why not go out? Some of y'all will probably come up with some excuses like, man, I don't know what to do. Man, this is boring. It ain't nothing nice to do. I ain't got enough money. And some of y'all will probably wish for your W-2s to be here. Like, You got done with your taxes. Now you gonna get some free money. Free money. Well, if you got all the free money you can get, like for instance, John Doe worked at a gas station. How much you gotta get paid at a gas station? Let's say that the gas station he worked at was paying. Well, he was a cashier, but he got paid $7.75 an hour. Now, if you had to do like, let me rephrase that. He worked $7.75 an hour, but his time, like, he works from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Because from Sunday through Thursday, the gas station closes at 10. But on Friday and Saturday, it closes at 11, so he has to work one extra day. If he works 6 days a week. But honestly, it's better to work five days a week, because sometimes we need a little break every now and then. And so he made $7.75 an hour. How much does he have to have in 5 days? $7.75 times 5 days. If he worked 5 days, he would be paid $38.75. But unfortunately, there's a little catch to it. Now, $7.75 times 4, that is $31. He gets paid $31 for working 4 days. Because when it comes to $7.75, okay, $7.75, I just bear with me. Okay, 7.75. Look, I'm just trying to remember my math, but you know how the story goes. You can get paid one way or another. It's just like, it's simple. It doesn't take an Einstein to get on the phone and find calculator and start typing numbers down as much as it takes an Einstein to go to your calendar planner on your phone, text what you're going to do on a certain day, and then what happens? Like one day before the day of, you get a vibrate, or you get like a reminder letting you know that you should not forget. Even when it comes to family type things, a date, or going out with your friends. But sometimes you just gotta lay low. You need just lay low, back the heck up like Onyx, and then bam. It's like you don't even know what the truth is anymore, and then next thing you know, you look like a madman. Like, what am I gonna do? Come on now. Just lay low, right? See, that should be the motto. You gotta lay low. When things go out of hand, just lay low, play it cool, and start slow. It's like you're in the runway, in the airport, and your goal is to have a successful start. You start slow, but then all of a sudden, once you hit the runway, it gets tougher. Harder than that. You start going faster and faster while you're in the plane, because you're the one who's driving it. But you can't do this all by yourself. You need somebody who knows the real deal. Now, for instance, who would have thought that Smokey and Big Worm from Friday would fly the plane on the Keep Their Heads Ringing music video? Who ever thought? Look, they just doing this for fun. Not to mention, F. Gary Gray, shout out to him. He's the master of being a director. He made a whole lot of work in black culture. Heck, and for a white director, I admire Steven Spielberg. But who can I admire as a black director? Why not the late John Singleton? And since I mentioned F. Gary Gray, why not follow his footsteps? Because F. Gary Gray, he did more than just making films. He actually didn't make a film until 1995. So what did he do years before? He worked with Ice Cube as a music video director. He directed "It Was a Good Day." He directed. He directed Outkast's Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music, the title track of their debut album. And I too have the album. Everybody should love the funk, the Southern funk that Outkast brought ever since they were kids. They were like both 18-year-old kids. One had to graduate high school for his Aunt Renee's sake, because he was threatened, and that was Big Boy. He was threatened to go back to West Savannah if he don't get his grades together. And as for Andre 3000, he done dropped out, but later got himself a GED. Like, come on now. If I was a rapper and I started in a young age, for instance, I was 10 years old and I've been writing rap tunes after discussing and witnessing what's going on in my neighborhood, I would have held on to all my old raps and probably change them up. Especially when I'm getting to an age of understanding. Just like kids who are in the church. We gotta wait till we're in the age of understanding to get baptized. Now I was 10 when I was baptized. For those, and was I ready for it? Honestly, no, but I've been crying my eyes out. Look, I'm soft. I just want things to go my way, but it doesn't work that way. And when things don't go your way, you cry. But even crying can get you in a whole heap of trouble. You be called a crybaby. I remember a long time ago, there was a viral video of the guy with curly hairs and wearing eyeglasses, and he was crying because his football team lost, and everybody else was like tired of me, like, hey, look, it's just a game. Shut the heck up, double crosser! It's just a game. Dang! And they were white. Can you imagine a black man crying and getting told to shut the heck up? Man, like, wait. We cry over small things. We don't communicate. We don't even pay attention to what is going on around us because we focusing on one thing we like. Because one thing we like, for instance, you like the Dallas Cowboys. They're not gods. There's only one God. The Cowboys are just a team. You can't cry for them. You can't be mad. You can't be frustrated over a loss. I had to learn that crap the hard way. I hate to lose, refuse to lose, as people would say, but who gives a dang? Life is not about competition. How the heck do you know? How the heck does John Doe or Jane Doe have the audacity to say something like that? Because they've been in this position. Maybe John Doe and Jane Doe can be your parents, your older siblings, your coaches, your teachers, even the police, the firefighters, the nurse, the doctors, all the men and women who served their lives trying to build a better place. But what's causing the place to crumble, to break in half? Which leads me to think about, an album. as in, what do we do? And the title was In Our Lifetime, question mark. Now, the album cover, man, this was a classic Marvin Gaye album. For those that didn't know, In Our Lifetime was released by Marvin Gaye, and all of a sudden, near 2 decades later, a rapper by the name of Daz Dillinger, Daz from the Dog Pound, he recreated the album cover, but instead it took place in the sky. Now, and I see why life has gone topsy turvy. Like, whoa. I'm trying to stay on balance. It's not simple, especially when you walk in the tightrope. On a tightrope, trying to hold your balance. Like, there's going to be some distractions. God planned it that way. To get through this dangerous course, you're going to have to face the challenges, the distractions like wind blowing, lightning, and even bugs swarming around you, or worse, bats swooping. Whoa! What's going on? That's the key point. You know what I'm saying? So why not keep it cool, play it smooth? You know what I'm saying? It's not as simple as it can get, because I know for a fact that life, like when it's caught up like when you're caught up in the rapture, you're caught up in the mix of who's right and who's wrong, who got the power, who got the props, besides Black Moon. It's just, think about it. It's just the way of the world. No, it's not the way of the world. It's not the way it is. It's not as simple as people can tell you. The only reason why they say some random things and say it is what it is, because they discovered how to overcome some small things. Like, for instance, if I showed you what life was like if we lived in the dark, how can we see? Oh! Come on now. You gotta have a window. You gotta have sun. And you got to find a way to make it a better solution. With all that being said, just keep your eyes open. Keep your ears clean and focusing on what men and women would say. So, it's just a good feeling. And that we all been missing for months, for weeks, for years. And come to think of it, it just makes perfect sense, right? Wrong. It's going to have to take more than common sense to get on top of things. Like, you're on the hill. Sunday, the bottom of the hill. Monday, you're going slower and slower and slower, and then you get higher and higher and higher because you just passed Tuesday. Wednesday, you're stuck on top. Just like the top of my head. Like, if I move, you're supposed to go backwards. You're falling backwards. But we're supposed to go forward. But as long as my head is still, as long as the heels are still and steep. Because when Thursday hit, you're about to tilt forward and lean forward. And Friday, you'll be running like crazy. Yay! Because some of y'all acting like that because of school being let out at 3 p.m. Or maybe even early, like 2:50. Now, where I'm from, back when school was considered a job for us kids, like when we were kids, going to school was kind of like a job, but we don't get paid to do it. We don't get paid. We are commended to go to school. We go to our 9 to 5s like our parents, but our 9 to 5 is from 8 to 3. So we get done at 3 p.m. sharp. Now for summer, like for summer break and Christmas break, we get out. We get out like around 11. Either that or, well, between 11 to 11:30. Let's just keep it at that. I mean, I've been in this position. I've been in a child's footsteps. I've seen and done things that are both good and bad, but who got your back? Who had to straighten you out? And not to mention, when was the last time we ever heard the news about a child getting killed from a whooping, a butt whipping? Now, some will call it abuse, some will call it neglect. But a butt whooping is what some individuals still need, mostly young individuals who cannot control themselves. Even when they don't do their chores. Even when they like, oh, screw you, mom. You ain't jack. Unless the children figured out that the parents can be their own enemies as well. It's kind of like, the next thing I can think of at this particular time, based on the example about asking when was the last time a butt whooping went completely buck wild. Next thing you know, you feel like you have nothing to do. You're all by yourself. You don't even communicate with others. For example, you go to the library, a peaceful library, and you see a checkerboard. Sometimes you have to play against yourself and see how far you can go. Like if you're one color, but then you're on the neck or the other color. It's like you can't find a good victory beyond playing against yourself, because you win, you lose, you draw. But sometimes a tie is not going to do much for anybody in the society. So just keep that in mind. Just like my granddaddy said, keep that in mind. Now, as I conclude, just realize where you come from. Just realize how pathetic the world can be, and what's on your mind, what you gonna do to turn the world from pathetic to a better society. Because I'm going to tell you like this. I may be pathetic, I may be annoying, I may be hard-headed, I may be out of my mind. But I can't be like this all the time. I can't be nappy. I got to get myself in shape. You got to shave. You got to trim yourself. You got to look sharp. You got to buy some more materials that you need, like more shoes, more socks. Because next thing you know, you look like you're going to be homeless. And that's not the way it works. God expects you to look forward. Watch out for danger. And since He created the plots, He created the tricks, the devil is trying his very best for you to oblige, like avoid, like, yo, come over here, come on, ride with us, smoke this. Come on now. It's more than that. Because if I was God, I'll be like, I wanted to see how he or she is going to get out this hole. And if He's pleased to see how far you went, like you avoiding all of the devil's clutches, because sooner or later, there's going to be like a handful of people tricking you one day after another, and they're not going to stop. But imagine if the last day of school came, and they were like, they did one last thing. They're trying to give you one last test. I would suggest you to get ready for all that. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. But anyway, thank you so much for spending your quality time with me for the first episode, first ever segment of Cold Man's Winter. And there will be more segments of Cold Man's Winter probably next Friday. So tune in next Friday. And all you got to do at this particular time, especially if you enjoy what you're hearing so far, feel free to go to my YouTube channel, like, comment, and even give me some feedback, like what you think after what I'm saying, and give your side of the story, like what do you expect me to understand, and how, and give me some scoops on like what I can talk about for next week, and I'll come up with some ways to break it down for you. So like, comment, share, even if you haven't done this already. And of course, you cannot forget the main part of this video. To SUBSCRIBE, subscribe, and there will be more in stores. So, live from Memphis, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, signing out. And also, for this episode of Cold Man's Winter, it's brought to you in part by something I made up in my head, Sweet Lady of the Week, where an individual, a female individual, deserves respect. And to start off with this first episode, this segment goes out to my sister, Amanda Jones, who's also in Memphis. And for Amanda, if you're watching this, I decide to give my credit where credit is due. For we get on the right tracks of things, even in a bumpy road, the hard times we had together, even if we don't see things eye to eye, this one's for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time I have on Cold Man's Winter. Thank you once again for watching this first segment of Cold Man's Winter. And I will see you next Friday if it's in the Lord's will. Take care.